It's cyber time. It's all coming together. The Cybertruck is really coming. Yes, it is. I'm Brian. Welcome to My Tesla Weekend. As a reminder, this is the full version that goes out on Friday on the second channel, My Tesla Live. Yeah, that's the one. Goes out on My Tesla Live. And if you're seeing it over the weekend, it is the condensed version. It is whichever one you see on the screen. Quick thank you to newest Patreon, Chris. Thank you. Your support is what absolutely keeps the channel running because only about a third of my income comes from YouTube. Can you believe that? When I say income, I really mean revenue because it's all fungible. Let me know if I'm looking good and sounding good, or at least within spec. So yeah, did you know? No, Cybertruck production is not being further delayed. There was this great story on Reuters, whom I used to respect quite a bit until they got a little too into the money. They paywall things now, and they've gone a little towards the clickbait direction. They cited two experts with inside information that said volume production not until the end of 2023. Unnamed reports. Right, volume production. We've always said initial production in the middle of the year, volume production at the end of the year. That is not changing. That is not changing. Who is this? Informs me 3.8 out of 8. Not bad. Not bad. I'll take it. So we know where it's going to be. It's going to be in Texas because they're already tooling. Oh, are they? Well, I heard that they're not. Well, you heard wrong. See, Texas is big enough. If you look at Shanghai, the factory in total, for all of it, is only 9 million square feet for all the buildings combined. Might be a little over that now. But about 2/3 of that is Model Y production. That means, 5-6 million feet for Model Y. In Berlin, same kind of deal. The whole factory is Model Y, 5 to 6 million square feet. I couldn't find an accurate number, a recent number anyway. I saw numbers that were desperately wrong. 2 million, that's not accurate. But they are big enough at 5 million to cover Model Y. So if we look at Texas, we'll see in this southwest prairie, as I've been calling it, loading docks have been added. They've been cut in, and they are now full. The loading docks, the receiving bays are full of trucks bringing in equipment and supplies. This whole area is going to be for Cybertruck. Now, Texas is only 9 million square feet, so is that enough? I mean, if we're putting 5 to 6 million towards Model Y, is 3 million really enough for a high volume vehicle? Yeah, it is. It is because the stamping cathedral has been having improvements made inside to expand its capacity. It was only using about 1/3 of it before, that area you see over there. And the Cybertruck famously does not use very many stamped components. Man, you can see the progress. They are really cracking in there. They don't use much in terms of stamped components. The origami style design for its Cybertruck is revolutionary. Now, if you're not stamping and you're not all the panels, we know that on the Model Y, just removing the back bottom removed 170 pieces. The front, probably about the same, maybe a few less. The whole outer shell. So you've got less stamping. You've got fewer assembly robots. The assembly robot line is quite long. Minimize that. Are these stamped? My theory is that these will be cast, that these door arches will be cast. I could be mistaken. But even if they're stamped, they have the capacity. It doesn't cut into the space that they already have. And of course, there's no paint shop because the Cybertruck can get in any color you want as long as it's stainless. And not only does a paint shop take quite a bit of space, it costs a lot of money. In my recent interview with Sandy Monroe, I asked him how much is a paint shop, and he said $750 million up to whatever you want to spend. $3 billion? So it's not just space, but it's money. And if you're only going to make a few million of them and it costs a few billion, you got $1,000 in cost per vehicle just for the paint shop, not even counting the paint. So that's going to be a big money saver, time saver, and space saver. So we know where, we know how, but now we know that. These 2 Cybertruck builds were spotted at Giga Texas. These are typically brought in when you start working on the line to dial in your tolerances. They're prototypes you bring in. We saw this in Berlin when they were getting ready to start Model Y production. They brought in bodies in white from other facilities, either Fremont or Shanghai, I'm not sure. They brought them in to compare them to what they're making, to get them right. Now, it's possible. There were rumors at the time, well, they just brought them in for the shareholder meeting, the shareholder call, the quarterly financial call, so that they could have them on display. Well, we didn't see them because that's just a call. That's not a video event. And we haven't seen any examples in Texas of having 2 on display at once, at least not in a very long time, maybe not ever. No, these are brought in for tooling. We also know that the Cybertruck's GigaPress is on its way. Sandy Monroe went out and saw it in Italy. And he asked them questions and published the answers in ways they didn't care for. What did you think he was going to do? It's big. It's a big boy. And we know it's on the way. And we've seen reports that it has made it as far as Houston already. It may already be inside. It may have been brought in on a day when there were no drones in the air. That is possible, however unlikely, because it's a big boy. It is a process to move something that's that big. Now, they're going to need a second one for the front end, right? Well, I asked Sandy, could they just use the 6,000-ton press since the machine, the front casting is going to be smaller, at least in terms of material, than the rear casting. Could they just use the 6,000-ton press? And Sandy said, no. They could use an 8,000-ton press, but I imagine they would just get a pair of 9s so they've got redundancy. So if one is offline, they can just swap out the dies. And you can just swap out the dies and have a stockpile of castings. We know that because we see it all over the sites all the time. Tons of extra castings made in advance so that if the line goes down for maintenance or tooling or whatever, they've got a supply on hand. We know that the vehicle's being tested. Cybertruck spotted being tested with additional cameras. And personally, I hope that they keep this. I think this is a good-looking configuration. It really steps up the cyber aspect. No, I tease, of course. But it's out for road testing. That's not something you do when you're years from production. That's something you do when you're about to enter production, which suggests that this may be the final design. We know that the windshield wiper katana is going to remain on the vehicle. This one has side mirrors, which are, as I understand, still currently required for manufacturers. They're working on getting that revised. And Elon has stated that these will be very easy to remove aftermarket. And Tesla was granted a patent for Cybertruck folding seat design. Oh, look, cyber seats. And this patent is very, very interesting. These are seats. This is a folded seat. Seats, yeah, they fold. So I'm not sure how much patent you need for that, but they've got one. I thought, all right. And they've started hiring. The hiring has begun. Not for line workers. That would be very exciting. But for things more important. Dimensional engineer, body in white. Manufacturing operations leader. Senior equipment engineer. Dimensional engineering manager. Equipment engineering manager. Senior equipment engineer robotics for body in white. So there will be some robot assembly, of course, because these particular items are too heavy to lift individually. What do all these things mean? If we look down, the dimensional engineer will work with production teams and report to the dimensional engineering, working closely with sustaining engineering to understand, help define, and ensure lines are followed following body accuracy, fit, gap, and craftsmanship specs. What are the specs on fit and finish? Loose. Nah, I tease. The new factories are doing better. But what do these jobs actually mean? What is a dimensional engineer? Dimensional engineering is the engineering process used to control product quality and the cost of production for dimensional products. From the design phase to the manufacturing floor, dimensional management is a crucial part of product lifecycle management. Engineering manager job description, it's not as difficult as you might think to figure it out. Proposing and managing budgets, supervising work for multiple teams, planning and executing strategies for completing projects on time. Could use that. Researching and developing designs and products. You get the idea. And supervising all of the people in your very small team who are working on that. So this might be something pretty good to have at this point. This tells me that they are on schedule. So we'll get to that part in a minute. Yeah, no, let's just do it. If you'd like to see a Cybertruck yourself in person, the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles is going to have an exhibit coming up where they will display a number of unique vehicles. The original Roadster, Tesla's 1 millionth vehicle, the Plaid, the Nürburgring Plaid, the Cyberquad, the Cybertruck itself, Models 3 and X original prototypes. You can get a good look at them and see how they've subtly changed over time. And by over time, I mean once. And I'm going to be at this event. I will be driving down to meet Jeff in the San Francisco area, and we will be driving down together in his Model X. So I will get to experience the yoke myself and tell you if it's a hit or a miss. I'm very excited about that. I will also be going to the LA Auto Show. I got my press credentials today, so I'm very excited about that. So if you're at either of those events or just in the greater Los Angeles area, maybe we should meet. I plan to be there roughly the 16th through like the 19th or 20th. Probably the 20th, but I don't know how much time I'll have on the 20th. And the other big thing is tomorrow at 2 p.m. on the second channel, which is, I mean, if you're watching this, you know this, I'll be interviewing Randy Kirk, author of The Elon Musk Mission, Making the Future Awesome, How Tesla, SpaceX, The Boring Company, and Neuralink are changing the world. This is co-written with Lars from Best in Tesla. Be nice. He's very good. And he's also the best-selling author of The Elon Musk Method, which is not a form of birth control, because that doesn't work. We found that. Because the best part is no part, the best process is no process, and the best kid is 9 kids. So it'll be interesting. I don't think that question's going to come up. But with that said, we have fun. Thank you to my patrons, as always, who get early access, bonus content, generally an ad-free experience, and more bonus features are coming soon. I do hope to have a Discord channel set up, hopefully next week. But I've got a lot to do before I head out of town to go down to the LA Auto Show and the Peterson Museum. Very exciting times. I've got a bonus section coming up here. Why don't we just do the bonus now? I got a comment in the pre-show about enjoying the art. Yeah, isn't that cool? I love it. I used AI to create it. This was not DALL-E. This was Stable Diffusion on a website called nightcafe.studio. And it's a bit of work to get it to make what you want it to make. I might make a video about that. That might be next week's Friday video about how to get it to actually work. And the prompt was Cybertruck, Tesla Cybertruck, big, bold, exciting, electric, and then a bunch of words that it put in automatically to get me this art style. And it got me this, which is beautiful. It's not a Cybertruck, but it's beautiful. And then, of course, we've got this. Oh, gorgeous. Not a Cybertruck. It's Cybertruck inspired. Love it. That's so good. Aren't these, I mean, they're just beautiful. I can see, I can see how you got there. Oh, the electric. You can see it got it into there. And let's grab another one. Okay. What's not to love? And you can see a little bit of Cybertruck in the nose, but it's definitely semi. And another interesting design. Is that someone's hand on a wheel? That's not creepy at all. And this is... Oh gosh, I just noticed the person. That's... See, the word cyber throws it off. It starts thinking cyberpunk. Which gives you great stuff, but... Yeah, that's great. I love them all. So you essentially enter a couple lines of text? Yeah. There are other settings to tweak, but yeah. So let's get into the Q&A, shall we? I've left lots of time today for this very exciting topic. Let's go back a bit. The sound is good, great. And if you have questions, oh, hello, Wendelin. I didn't see you there before. Hello, Tech Fixer. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. Daniel says, does 10,000 equal volume production? I don't know. 10,000 total? I guess I would say that barely qualifies. But if by the end of 23 we're at a production rate of 1 to 2,000 a week, I would say that absolutely qualifies. John says, I'm sure Tesla Q can find experts to refute that. Yeah. Paul says, they've used 5,000 before, if I recall correctly. Did you mean 5,000 a week? Because I would argue that Berlin is at volume production, even though they're only at 2,000 a week. I mean, 2,000 a week is substantial. That'd be, a little bit of money. What would that be? 20,000 a unit? So $40 million a week in profit? I'd say that's volume production. Reuters is a garbage tabloid. They used to be so good. They used to be as good as the Associated Press, and now they're just pandering for clicks. I don't think it was Reuters. Oh, was it Bloomberg? Said, Tesla stock down 43% since Musk announced Twitter buyout. Okay, now do Amazon and Facebook. Oh, they're also down 50%? Right. Correlation does not imply causation. You've got to... Did you know that windshield wipers cause rain? Did you know that wet roads cause rain? Yeah, it's true. Not painting, yeah. I'm in the brokerage business, so I might know a thing or two. Well, let me know. Get in touch. A paint shop is always polluting, too. There are ways to minimize it, but they're expensive. And you can have a paint shop that doesn't pollute, but there's always a risk of pollution, and it's expensive. They can develop an alloy, which provides LCD functionality to the exterior. Then you pick the color on your phone or display. That would be cool. Another theory I heard was, you can anodize stainless steel to give it different colors. And while true, boy, that would be a nightmare procedure. I worked in a plating plant when I was 16. And again, when I was 32, I know a bit about plating, and it is a fickle process when it comes to parts that are not independent. So you could take the exoskeleton and electroplate it, but you would scratch it. There is no chance in hell you would get it out the door without a lot of noticeable scratches after assembly. It would be a prohibitively challenging procedure and add an amount of cost that would be stunning, and then it would be prone to immediate scratches and failure. So that's not a thing that would happen. Nano Fantasy, they can develop an... Oh, yeah. Never really wanted a car before, just didn't really care. But boy, oh boy, do I want that Cybertruck. I've never wanted a truck. I had a truck at one time. In a past life, I owned rentals. And I needed a truck, so I bought a truck, a 76 F-150. It was great. One day it died. I'd given it to my handyman, and he goes, oh, by the way, your water pump went out today. I'm like, oh, geez. He goes, yeah, it was $46 plus 2 hours of my labor. I'm like, oh, so it's fixed. It's fixed. But it did fail, so that's not ideal. But, it was old. Bloomberg Terminal is for real. Reuters is garbage. The Bloomberg Terminal is for real. Bloomberg News is a click-chasing machine. All news today really is a click-chasing machine. Origami expert? I don't... Yeah, that's what we should get on the channel, is an origami expert. Yes, if the losers thought Cybertruck is not a real thing. Sandy Monroe was not impressed with rear seats on the Plaid S in his review videos. Hope they fix that for the Cybertruck. Yeah, especially, I mean, it's an expensive car. Let's get good seats, can we? Sandy only said it's not as good as he hoped. Yeah, but for $130,000, I expect pretty good seats. I expect perfect, comfortable, impressive seats. And maybe you're buying the car for its performance more than its luxury, but still. Nice art. That looks cool. Yeah, you can heat blue stainless, but it's expensive. Yeah, it's inconsistent. Anodizing is for aluminum, better to polish stainless. Right. In our shop, we did almost entirely aluminum and some steel. We would do like zinc on that, but and nickel sometimes. But we did almost entirely aluminum, almost entirely for aircraft. And when I first worked there, we did mass production. And when I worked there 16 years later, we did nothing but rush orders for aircraft somewhere in the world that needed this one bespoke part. And it was a lot easier the second time. I've never wanted a 6-passenger truck, but now that I have a couple of grandkids, yeah. Sled Designs said, I hadn't had a car since 1999, waiting for the Cybertruck. Got a Plaid. Wow. That's a big car to come back to after your break. Perfect comfort and helicopter G-crash safety, rated safety. Cool. So we still got a little bit of time. Let's get some questions in, shall we? Who's excited about the Cybertruck? Let's look at our poll. What was the poll? When is it coming out? Most people. And in my poll, I somehow skipped Q3 of 23. I apologize for that. Let's end it. 58%. 57% said Q2. 37% said Q3. 3% said 2024. And 1% said 2025 or never. Since we're all here, care to speculate on the next generation of cars? Do you mean the next form factor or the next model? If not, tell me what you mean, but I'll address that first. The next model should be the compact. That's the biggest market that needs to be tackled. After that, I see a van coming because that will have overlap with Digital Blade. I do not have grandkids. That was a comment I was reading. I apologize. I think the van could be used in the boring tunnel. I think it's a form factor that's needed. I don't believe that they're very interested in getting into cargo vans at this time because the FSD take rate would be so low, it'd probably be approaching zero. Because until it's done, they don't have an application for it. They're not going to buy it on speculation for a fleet vehicle that's only going to last a few years before you rack up a cajillion miles and need to replace it. Is anti-gravity strictly science fiction? Yes. Yes, I think so. I believe that is correct. Yeah. Ika says Q3 was my choice. I apologize for that. Yeah. Tech Fixer says I haven't owned a car in almost 3 decades. Just trucks since the '94 T-Bird. I remember that car. It was quite large for a T-Bird. I want a cyber van. I think there will be more. If the Cybertruck works as expected, I expect more cyber vehicles. A cyber coupe, a cyber whatever. If you can get away without a paint shop and without all those stamping machines. And the nice thing about folding is it's easy to keep within tolerances. So you've got castings, which are always within tolerance. They're always perfect, period. That's Sandy Monroe talking. And then the folding is easy to keep straight and square and plumb. It'll simplify everything if you can find enough triangular shapes that still fit people in them, it's going to be big. And you don't have to go as thick on the stainless for a cyber car because it doesn't have the same rigidity requirements as a truck. Cyber anti-gravity, cyber fast hatch. Oh, that'd be nice. And again, with a car, you don't need as much, trussing. It would have enough rigidity to handle it in that form factor. Cyber SUV would sell like crazy. I think anything would sell like crazy if the price is right and the specs are right. And the cyber model offers savings you cannot get any other way. Just the simplicity of manufacturing, you can get more cars out of the same factory. And cyber buses, I think you've got too many flat panels for that to work out. Origami truck, just origami. I want my Cybertruck to be able to power my travel trailer, dry camping. Yeah. And yeah, your Cybertruck does have plugs, I believe, 110 and 220 in the bed, so you could just plug in your trailer. That'd be fun. And then if you want to power it with solar, it's super easy. All you need is an entire field of them, which you might be able to fit in the bed somehow, but it doesn't seem like a very practical solution. Stainless steel would be highly protective to people inside. Yes, but you could also, I don't think they would overdo it. You still need some crushability to reduce the G-force load. So, I don't know. And I don't think they want to overbuild it because avoiding an accident makes all of your safety equipment less critical. It makes it so that you don't necessarily need it. Hopefully someday we can get to the point where cars are manufactured as weight conscious as aircraft, with the assumption that they're just not going to crash. Now, we'll have to wait for all the other cars to get off the road first, but we can get there eventually. Couple minutes left. Yeah, put an auxiliary drive system in the travel trailer. That's something I talked about with Sandy. I don't think he quite understood what I was asking. And he was just saying, well, it's just trying to get more weight. And yeah, I don't think you'd need it. I think it would add a lot of complication. If you've got, just get more range out of the primary vehicle and then you're good to go. A lot of travel trailers don't have braking systems on them already. So it's not like you need the regen, but you never know. Moose still jump out. Exactly. Or a tree falls. Even if you get every car to 100% safety, there will still be accidents. There will still be death. It just happens. I believe Cybertruck will have compressed air in the bed, too. Oh, a compressor on board. If it's got air suspension, then yeah, you've already got a compressor. Yeah, and it does have air suspension. So it would have a compressor. Nice. Good catch. 2 more minutes to go. Is there anything I'm missing? I could do my sign-off now, but I always get last-minute questions, and they're usually really good. So in the meantime, I will say, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? If you're not catching this live, leave your comments in the comment section below. Stay tuned, stay juicy, all that good stuff. Can't wait to hear from you clever robots tomorrow at 2 o'clock on this, the second channel, where we will be interviewing Randy Kirk about the future. I'm excited about it. I got to meet him in San Diego, and he's a very sharp guy. But that makes sense. Kind of hard to be a bestseller on a science and technology issue without being a sharp guy. Nearly 100% of travel trailers have brakes. Thank you for that correction. I appreciate that. Tire inflation management system. Yeah. 2 p.m. Pacific is what time it will be tomorrow. But tonight I'll be posting the thumbnail. I'll be posting it tonight so that you'll see the countdown. Yeah. Good show, you guys. Yeah, thanks. It was fun. And I didn't want to get into all the drama of the week. It's dumb and stressful, and why bother? Why bother? make sure the notification goes out. That is not within my purview. That is going to be a YouTube issue, whether they do that or not. Sales of travel trailers are falling. That's interesting. I didn't know that. For another vid, why the grid can charge Teslas at night. That's a good topic. SpaceX launch tomorrow morning. Will you be going to see the first semis delivered? If it is announced and I am capable of going, I will go. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Stay tuned, stay juicy, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys, tomorrow.